Hello, everyone. Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 646, or Hello, Wrestling Fanatics. That's how I normally open up. I was thinking of another podcast that hopefully will be recorded soon. Don't want to go away, but right now it is 360 Wrestling Fanatic. That is the name of the podcast right now. I am Lance Brock. Thank you for tuning in. As that little pre-screen says, getting used to streaming again. I tried it just a couple times, but not very much. Definitely not good at it. So starting to get back into it again, kind of get used to it. And as that little, what's it called? That little pre-screen thing that shows up before screen. I know I'm dumb. I don't know as much as all the other YouTuber people, all the streamer people. I'm not smart like they are, but trying to do live streams anyway, even though I'm terrible at it. Well, I'm terrible at the audio podcast, but I do that too just because I like to, even though worst podcast host ever, worst streamer ever. But I hope people do listen, because you should listen to the bad podcasts, not just the good ones, but listen to the bad ones too, like mine. And now let's start off this episode 646 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Got my Simpsons mug tonight. This past Sunday was the season finale. Maybe we'll talk about that. Who knows? Not here, but on episode of Anything Goes. Who knows? Maybe one day in the future. You never know. But this is 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And without any further ado, let's get. Didn't mean to hit the microphone right there. I know audio listeners didn't notice that, but if you're watching on the live stream on YouTube right now, you saw that. But like I said, still not quite used to the live streaming thing. We started off our day of pro wrestling today right at noon. WWE Speed exclusively on X. And today we saw Ivy Nile get a win over Kalani Jordan in almost right to the end, just maybe 2-3 seconds left, maybe even just 1 second left, but it was pretty close. But Nile getting the win to earn a shot at the Speed Champion Sol Ruca. That'll take place next Wednesday, exclusively on X on WWE Speed. And now let's move on to tonight. AEW Dynamite. Forgot something. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite. And tonight, not just the other episode of Dynamite, the Go Home episode of Dynamite before the Sunday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Actually, before I get into Dynamite, I want to mention, I mentioned this yesterday and then again this morning on 360 Wrestling Fanatic about the viewing situation for Double or Nothing. And yesterday, I just read the tweet a little bit ago. Wasn't quite thinking. I was thinking, oh, it's not going to be on Triller. That's it. no other option here in the US for it. Though I wasn't thinking of the other options. You got ppv.com still. I should have looked this up before I started tonight's episode, but is YouTube in the United States? I know it is on YouTube, but I don't remember if it's in the US or if that's just an international deal or not. So you can order on ppv.com, and of course, traditionally the old way, either cable or satellite, and also a new way that I didn't mention this morning. You can also order Sling. They have pay-per-view. You can order on Sling, which is what I did. I wasn't sure because it's kind of, maybe it's just me, but like kind of seems like with the AEW pay-per-views, there's been some I have seen have been available on Sling for purchase. And then also there's been other times where it seems like I don't remember seeing them available for purchase, but you can order Double or Nothing on Sling. I'm not sure if you need a subscription or not, or if you like, which I do have a subscription, but if you're like me and watch free streams, and with the whole contest thing they got going where you watch 30 minutes of Sling a day and you get a spin on the wheel, and I won a free month of Sling. But I think even if you don't have one of the subscriptions and you just watch the free streams, that you can still probably order the pay-per-view too. Don't know that 100% for sure, but my guess is that you probably still can. So would be simple. Sorry, Mr. Microphone, hit you again. But if you have Sling, that'll probably be the best. Or if you want to do the old-fashioned way, cable, satellite, traditional pay-per-view, is it still in demand? Who knows? But Sling, great way to go, whether you just watch maybe on your computer, your phone, Roku, which is what I use, whatever Sling else is on these days. But who knows? Let's get into tonight's Go Home Dynamite before this big Double or Nothing pay-per-view on Sunday night. And tonight, Dynamite is live from Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Rancho Events Center. And our commentators for tonight, Ian Riccaboni, Excalibur, and Az. And we kick off, and we have Tony Schiavone. Not really sure why the last couple weeks hasn't really been commentary on Dynamite. Maybe they're bringing Ian Riccaboni up to Dynamite and keeping Tony exclusively on Collision with Nigel. And he's in the ring. He brings out Hangman Adam Page and the Aerial Assassin Will Ospreay, the two men who will go at it one-on-one this Sunday at Double or Nothing in the finals of the men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. And it turns out that it's gonna be the main event of Double or Nothing. Not really surprised. I mean, you kind of would think that going into it with, you have all the craziness, insanity, the hardcore action of Anarchy in the Arena. that they might want to close with that. But this is a big match, not just in Owen Hart. A tournament named after a legend, loved and respected in the business, but also you're getting a world title shot at AEW's biggest show of the year, all in Texas. Speaking of All In, got the jersey from All In London, the first All In London. And again, if you're one of the people watching on YouTube right now, you can see it. Obviously, gotta remember the audio listeners cannot see that right now. So I apologize to any of the audio listeners who are on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, or wherever you can listen to podcasts at. Sorry. And also on Dynamite tonight, we had a trios match. The Death Riders, the AEW World Champion John Moxley, the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson taking on the Ops, AEW World Champions, Samoa Joe, well, one of them anyway, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Swerve Strickland. And pretty good match here. Kind of, I guess you could call it a preview to Anarchy in the Arena, the Sunday Tops get the win in this. Then after the match, the rest of the Death Riders make their way out. Then Shibata comes out, and Willow Nightingale and Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega goes to hit the One Wing Angel, but he is stopped by Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and they bring out a table. He's about to hit it, but then Claudio Castagnoli saves Matthew Jackson. And then MJF really made a member of the Her Syndicate. And then we see the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes, and Sammy Guevara, who will be challenging the Her Syndicate, the AEW World Tag Team Champions Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin for those AEW World Tag Team titles this Sunday on pay-per-view. And then in the back, we get an interview with the remarkable Renee Paquette and Kazuchika Okada, who will be defending the AEW Continental Championship against Speedball Mike Bay. That one I am looking forward to see this Sunday at Double or Nothing. Would think right there that should be a great match. Definitely. And we have Ricochet take on the pride of professional wrestling, the 5-tool player, Anthony Bowens, along with Billy Gunn in his corner. And Ricochet gets the win, defeating Bowens. And we have the face-to-face Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné. And we had an interview with FTR. And tonight's main event on Dynamite, Mina Shirakawa taking on Julia Hart. with timeless Tony Storm on commentary. Sorry about that. Just had a little cough. And Mina Shirakawa gained the win over Julia Hart. And then after the match, we see Hart's friend Sky Blue, who recently returned, attacking Mina. And then Tony Storm taking off her headset, getting in the ring to make the save for the woman who will challenge for her championship coming up this Sunday at Double or Nothing. And then in the back, we see the Young Bucks in the back, and they talk about how Joe said they were coming after them earlier, but he didn't. And they were walking out, and then they get attacked by the ops all over the backstage area, then go out to the arena. And then the Death Riders end up getting the advantage. And that was tonight's AEW Dynamite, the go-home episode before this Sunday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. In my opinion, pretty good Dynamite. And to be honest, was planning on watching Double or Nothing, ordering the pay-per-view regardless. But I'd say if for some reason I wasn't sure, maybe 50-50, not really sure if I would want to order it or not, I'd say tonight's Dynamite would have convinced me to go ahead and sling or ppv.com or whichever and hit that purchase button, ordering this Double or Nothing pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. Whether you watch ppv.com or if you are internationally, it will still be available on Triller TV, I'm sure. And Dave and Buster's, I'm sure they're usually available there. I'm not sure, but probably will be. Usually is. But that is coming up this Sunday on pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, and sometime Sunday night whenever the pay-per-view goes off the air and Tony Khan finishes his press conference or post-media script say, I do plan on having an episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hopefully, I'm not sure just yet if I'm going to do the audio and the live stream. Not sure, but stay tuned. You never know. That's why you should always stay tuned to 360 Wrestling right here on Spreaker and also YouTube as well, now that I am kind of getting more into streaming as well to go along with the audio version of the podcast. And that is all for episode 646 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I just want to thank everyone, whether you're listening to the audio version on Spreaker or wherever you get your podcasts, or if you are watching live right now, watching the replay of this on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who listens, who watches, all that good stuff. And that's all for tonight. Hopefully we'll be back right here tomorrow morning for the Thursday episode of 360 Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Remember, you can leave your prediction for 360, getting a little too ahead of myself. AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday in the comment section, either right here on Spreaker or wherever you listen to 360 Wrestling Podcast, or since we are on YouTube right now, in the comment section below, down there somewhere. You can leave them right there in the comment section, your thoughts or your predictions, or if you just want to talk pro wrestling, right there in the comment section on YouTube, or you can email 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com, index at 360 Wrestling Pod, Blue Sky. If you just want to talk anything pro wrestling, you can. Definitely love talking pro wrestling. Who doesn't? That is for right now, and hope to be back with JMWF tomorrow and other new episodes. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.